Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit, Zappy here, back again with Yowamushi Pedal 1, episode 3 of season 1. And in the last episode, I guess the last couple episodes, we've been introduced to, obviously, the main pairing, I guess, is what I'm going to call them, because it's very similar to sort of Haikyuu with Kageyama and fucking Hinata. So, Onoda and Imaizumi, right? So, Imaizumi is obviously, you know, the Kageyama type. He's already doing the cycling thing. He's already well and truly versed in it. He's got all the equipment and all that kind of good stuff. Whereas Onoda, he's not really thought about doing any real cycling. I mean, he has a bike, a bicycle that he's been using since, I think he said, the 4th grade, I believe. And yeah, so basically the fact that he's been using his bike to drop. Fuck, I've got some. Fuck. That's why we have liquidation. Ugh. Right, seeing as Onoda has been using his bike to essentially travel everywhere, you know, into the fucking, all the way into the city, which is like a couple hours away. I mean, that if he wants to go there and come all the way back, it's going to take like 4 hours and shit. Basically, he's used to all this kind of stuff. So, using the sort of back entrance up into the school is like a really fucking steep incline. Imaizumi saw Onoda using it on what he calls a mommy bike, but I call it a granny bike. Same difference in it. It's that hot one, those fucking horrible bikes with a fucking basket in front. And yeah, Imaizumi's actually impressed by the fact that he was able to do that. So he offered to, or he challenged Onoda to a race, 5 kilometers, I believe. 3 of them were on sort of flat land all the way to the beginning of the hill, and then the final 2 kilometers is up the hill. Give him a 15-minute head start, and of course Imaizumi caught him up and passed him. In which case Onoda basically stood still, giving up, and then Miki and crew turned up. Miki, owning like you know, their family owns a bike shop. She knows all about this kind of stuff. Changes his seat height so it's higher, allowing you to give more momentum in your sort of like your stride essentially, and allowing for more power. So now it's a lot easier for Onoda, and he is chasing after Imaizumi at this point, I think. So, yeah, that is all. We're going to get into this this next episode and see what we get. So, without further ado, let's go. Oh, I don't believe he gave him that. Why did he give him that? Oh. I mean, I guess it's the thought that counts. But fuck. Oh. Honestly, I will eat my fucking hat if Imaizumi, like, even once listens to that CD. There's no fucking way. There's no way. We'll just put it down as it's the thought that counts, isn't it? Okay. So episode 3. Right then. So yeah. It went a lot differently than I thought it would. The race. I didn't think it would be a case of like I thought it would have ended a bit sooner. With Onoda basically, like, you know, because I thought like Imaizumi was like away, you know, but then I guess I didn't think that Imaizumi would have been you know, the type to, you know, basically slow it down and wait for him to catch up kind of thing. But I guess, you know, Imaizumi's thing is you know, he's intrigued by the way Onoda bikes essentially, right? So I guess it makes sense, but I just never thought about it like that. I thought that it wouldn't take that long into this episode for the race to finish, but I think it took like, yeah, it took fucking maybe half the episode. So yeah, the idea, he basically likes the way that he pedals, because he pedals with sort of high cadence, which what I gathered is, you know, if you're not putting your weight behind it, the idea is that it's almost like a smooth ride, like it's probably a lot, well, a lot of it, nah, because I don't think it's a lot to do with the I mean, it would probably help with the higher seat anyway, because again, like having the full stretch of your leg and having it sort of like naturally work that way. But I guess he even had that when his seat was lower as well. But the way I see it is that it's sort of like a smooth ride. Like your legs are sort of going, but you're sort of you're not really pushing down. You're just kind of using the you know, the sort of like the rotation as momentum. You know, it kind of just kind of like, it feels like a smooth ride. I feel like that's what it is anyway. And you know, I think that was sort of like contrasted when Imaizumi like stood up and then started, like, you know, swaying his bike back and forth, which, you know, generally that's, you know, that's sort of like a natural, almost natural movement anyway when you're standing up anyway and pedaling. So yeah, like if it's like the cadence of it, having it sort of like a smooth ride means that you're not overexerting any like excess energy to basically do, you know, to fit a sort of a rhythm that's basically not making you tired. So if you want to obviously go faster, you have to start putting your weight into it, but obviously that's just for like short bursts kind of thing, you know. So yeah, they'll basically give you, I love like the sort of the attention to like detail in actual, like what like the different, like the size of the gear, for example. I love how they go into that. I love the like the I think honestly that's probably one of the best things about sport anime, really, is what I'm noticing is like I'm guessing like obviously the people that write them, I think sport anime is like sort of like a bit unique in its sort of like as a genre, like it's sort of like separate from the others in that, like, I feel like there's almost like a high passion for that sport, whoever the mangaka is, or whoever's writing it, that obviously knows what they're talking about, because there's sort of like attention to detail and how, like, you know, how a smaller gear means that you're basically working, you know, basically twice as hard to get the same sort of distance kind of thing, you know, and shit like that, and like the higher seat thing and all that kind of stuff. I love that. So the sort of attention to detail and sort of sports anime is like on the technique like required and stuff like that is like, you know, it's really interesting. It kind of gets it. It's great because it does actually get you sort of more interested in something that you previously might not have been that interested in, you know. So yeah. Yeah, I wrote down like how would he have fared with a race bike. Now, I mean, it's tough to say. Like, I mean, I just wrote that down because I was thinking, you know, he's managed to keep up with Imaizumi and, you know, basically make up the distance 3 times on him during the ride up the hill. So I think it would be safe to say, oh, with a race bike, he would, you know, he probably would have won, but I'm not sure if he would have, because I don't think he's used to a race bike. And also, you know, he's never had to change gears or anything like that, right? So he probably wouldn't even understand what any of that stuff was. And also just the sort of difference in shape probably would have been you'd have to get used to anyway. But there's like also like the other sort of caveat is that obviously he got a 15 minutes head start as well. You know what I mean? So, you know, so there's that. I think what's actually more impressive actually than all of that is the fact that like Imaizumi was able to calculate like that even if he gave him a 15 minutes head start, he still would be able to pass him and beat him. You know what I mean? Like, how would you calculate that? You know what I mean? Because you'd have to like go through in your head. Like, I mean, I guess he knows, like, he was going through like loads of details, like, oh, there's like 60 to 70 rotations on a mommy bike, on flat surface, but that changes to like 40 to 50 on a you know, on a hill. So I guess, I don't know, he's able to calculate roughly a sort of average. but yeah. So I thought it was funny that, like, well, you know, the idea that when Imaizumi like asked why are you still coming at me for, he says he's working so hard for you know, Imaizumi to join the anime club essentially because he needs friends. Because I was thinking like it wasn't that at all at the end. Like, that was the reason why he even decided to race him. You know what I mean? And that's what like sort of coerced him into the race. But I thought like at the end, when he got his seat raised and then he saw him for the first time, I thought after that it was just a case of fuck. I thought it would like there would be a switch sort of in his head where he'd be like, oh, I just kind of want to beat you. You know what I mean? And it would just become like more competition based. But no, I guess even up until the very end, like that he still kept that reason. So yeah. And I was always thinking like the priority isn't essentially the anime club. Like, yeah, he likes that stuff, but I feel like the big thing surrounding it is the fact that he just wants to have friends. You know, so I was thinking like maybe, you know, if when Imaizumi asked why don't you join the bicycle racing club, that Onoda would be like, oh yeah, that like he would probably take it just on the fact alone that, you know, you would have club members to, you know, be friends with. But, you know, I guess it's not really his, it was never really his interest beforehand. Anime was, so I guess it's that. But yeah, I never expected Imaizumi to like talk to a bunch of people that he knew in middle school and then ask them to look into the anime club, because that's, yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all. So I think it's going to be a case of like maybe he does get enough to join the anime club, but then he chooses to go for the bicycle racing club instead. Mainly because of Imaizumi. Like, it's got to be, right? Like, you know, like Onoda's going to see it as Imaizumi being his sort of like first friend, right? So he's going to want to join with him. I imagine that's what it's going to be. So yeah, and then he went to Akiba, record time, singing fucking that Love Hime song, for fuck's sake. And then the redhead dude showed up. So I've seen him before, like in the opening and like you know, pictures when I'm getting things for like, you know, like my channel and stuff, like, because obviously like I have to like, you know, Photoshop in like, you know, the border around the actual footage and stuff. So when I'm getting and obviously things for my website as well, so obviously when I'm like looking up characters and things like that, or like, you know, the logo for the show, like you generally like you'll see them in like your peripheral vision or whatever. So yeah, I've seen him before. Originally in my head I was like, oh, he's probably just another guy in this school, but it's looking like he's part of a different school then, I'm guessing, which is good because now I'm like, it's kind of like perfect sort of rival character. Generally because, you know, the idea, and this is similar to Haikyuu as well with Kageyama and Hinata, how they ended up going to the same school even though they saw each other as like rivals, you know what I mean? So instead they had to change it up and become partners. And I think it's similar here where, you know, Imaizumi isn't going to be his rival. I mean, you know, there may be like some like competition things based in between them even though they're in the same school, but generally a proper rival needs to be somebody who you're actually competing with. So I guess this guy's going to be that. I don't think we've got his name this time, but he knows his shit because he was able to look at this this mummy bike and then look at the little, you know, like the scratches and the way it's been worn down to basically say, yeah, I can see, you know what I mean? It's a good bike. So yeah, interesting. Alright, well, that is all for episode 3. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below, links certain things. Discord, get yourself over there if you want any information regarding my channel or my content, get yourself over there. Also, you can come talk to me or the community. SirMonkeySuit.com, my website. You can go over there, become a member. All my content is over there, so that's where you can always find me. If anything happens, God forbid. And then Patreon. So I do have a Patreon. If you don't want to support me, that'd be very much appreciated. There's a bunch of different tiers and rewards depending on how much you want to support me with. So there's the early access tier, $5 a month, gives you access to shows a week early. And it gives you 4 episodes of Fate every week as of right now. That is going to change relatively soon because I'm coming up to the end of Fate. But another show will take its place and they'll probably get 4 episodes a week, so keep a lookout for that. $10, that's a full length, gives you access to my full length library. Everything I react to gets a full length. $15, that's the exclusive tier. That gives you access to a bonus show I'm currently reacting to, which is 7 Deadly Sins. So if you're interested in that, then get yourself over there and become an exclusive tier patron. $50, that's the elite tier. Gives you a choice of a show that you want me to react to, and I will react to it. It'll go at the back of the list by about 7 shows. Might take me a while to get round to it, but I will do eventually. But if you don't want to wait that long and you want your show to be reacted to next, then you want to get God tier, which is $100. And that's all. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.